Hey guys, I hope you guys are doing good. Today we're going to learn about AWS auto scaling. Alright, so this is part of my CloudQuest badge, and basically what auto scaling does is it allows you to automatically scale out your application within an EC2 instance. Alright, so you're going to have an EC2 server, and all you're going to do is based on that EC2 server, you will create something called an AMI. I'll explain everything, but I'm just going to go through like the rundown. But you're going to create an AMI, and then you're going to create a launch template, and then once you have these two things done, you'll create an auto scaling group where you're going to have multiple EC2 instances within that group that will all work together in order to achieve something called horizontal scaling. So I'll go ahead and explain what this is through this visualization. So there are two ways of scaling, alright? And for those who are kind of confused on what scaling is, scaling just means improving or upgrading your app whenever you get more network load or users, okay? So the first one is vertical scaling. This is perfect for small scale applications which will not really scale out that much or gain that much users, right? Like a personal project, I would say. And essentially what it is all of your requests will go to one server. Okay, remember that, only one server. And this server, right, as soon as it starts getting a load that it cannot handle, will upgrade its hardware. Alright? So it will upgrade its hardware to a point where it can handle many users' requests, right? But the issue with all of this is that, again, you're only having one server, right? So as soon as you reach the bottleneck for the amount of resources allowed for that, to upgrade your hardware, and you're still getting users, you're gonna have to anyway switch to horizontal scaling. All right. Furthermore, vertical scaling is much more expensive than horizontal scaling because provisioning new, more powerful hardware is much more expensive, all right, than what horizontal scaling does. Okay, so now moving on to horizontal scaling or scaling out, all you're going to be doing is you're going to have multiple servers. Okay, and these servers are not that beefed up with hardware, and that's because they're not going to actually handle that much network. All right, and that's because there's many servers, meaning the network load can be distributed amongst these servers. So let's say now I have 1,000,000 requests coming in. I can split that 1,000,000 requests into 3 servers, right? So each server is not handling 1,000,000 requests, but much less than that. And that will be dependent on how much that server is using, right? So if that server is using a lot of network loads and like a lot of its resources, the load balancer, right, which is how you're going to be distributing the load, will send that request to another more highly available resource. That way your resource will always stay very, very fast and available. Okay, and this way you'll never reach a bottleneck because you can just keep scaling out and adding new instances. So with AWS through EC2 auto scaling, you're going to be achieving this architecture over here. All right. So if I go back into my console home, first things first, I talked about 3 topics in order for this to work. First one is creating an AMI. So we actually learned about AMI back when we learned about EC2s and like what they are. And basically it's an Amazon machine image. It's used by an EC2 to provide its software, right? So all the software is packaged together in the AMI to power the EC2 instance. But now the cool thing is you can actually create custom AMI images that will be based off of an EC2 instance. So all you need to do is you need to launch an instance here, all right? And in this instance, right, you can add your code, right? You can add your app. In my case, maybe I want a Node.js application in a Docker container. I can do that, right? Or maybe I have a Java server, right? It doesn't really matter, right? You're gonna put your application in one instance, all right? Then what will happen is you're gonna create an image based off of this instance, all right? So this is the Amazon machine image. And what that means is that this AMI does not only have, the operating system, right? but it also has that application that you created, right? Whether that be a Node.js application or a Java server, all right, or anything, doesn't matter, all right. So what that means is that now you have this software that can be replicated easily onto multiple instances, right? So that each instance has the same application, all right. So let me just create a demo app, all right. I'm going to use Amazon Linux. I'm going to use T2.micro because that's free tier eligible, right? But I would usually probably use something like large or medium, depending on my user base. But for now, I'm just going to use free tier. You can also create a key pair. I'm not going to do all that. I'm just going to keep everything very, very simple. And let's go ahead and launch this instance, okay? Oh, we have to create a key pair. Oh, sorry. I just had to give a proceed without key pair. My bad. Okay. Anyways, that's done. I wouldn't recommend not having key pair because key pair adds an extra layer of authentication and security. But for now, I just want something very, very simple. So I'm fine with that. Just hit refresh. We're good to go. It's just going to go ahead and spin up that instance. Alright. Now, while that's happening, what we can do is I'll show you how we create this image, right? I just talked about how we're going to make this into its own image, right? Amazon machine image. So to do that, you need to go into actions, go into image and template, and then here you'll see create image, all right? Now that my instance state is running, I'm going to go ahead and click on this. Now I can create an image name. I'm going to call this demo image. I use camel casing, right? That just means the first letter is going to be lowercase and every other word is going to have an uppercase, and then the word itself. For description, I'm just going to say cool description, and everything else is good to go. Just press create image. So there you go. Now you have an Amazon machine image, okay? So now what do? Well, now we have to actually learn what a launch template is, okay? So basically, what a launch template does is it allows you to specify parameters that are used within your EC2 instances. Because again, you're going to be automatically building new instances, so you don't want to be manually adding parameters because that wouldn't really work, right? You want it to be automatic based on the load that your app is getting. So to do that, you can use a launch template, which will automatically allow you to spin up an EC2 instance by providing all the settings necessary for that specific instance. All right, and this will include the AMI ID, the instance type, the networking. All of that will be included within this launch template. So to get started, all you need to do is just create a new launch template, name it. I'm going to call mine demo template, again using camel casting. I'm going to call this a production level template for my EC2 instances. Okay, and then now when you scroll down, these are the specific parameters which will be used or inherited, I should say, with the EC2 instances that will have this launch template. So to start off, we need to add a machine, Amazon machine image. So I'm just going to go to my AMIs, and you'll see that I actually have one which we just created, the demo image. So this will include, theoretically, all of my app. Right? Because again, this demo image is based off of the demo EC2 instance, and that EC2 instance should have your app. So if it has your app and your code and whatever running on it, then this demo image will also have all of that packaged up so that you can use it within other EC2 instances, right? Because again, horizontal scaling will create new instances for you. Then for instance types, just pick whatever instance type you want. I'm just going to go with T2.micro. You can also add a key pair login, right? But I will not be doing that. I would highly recommend it though. And then you can also have a security group. Okay? Remember, a security group is basically a firewall. So if you have other services such as a RDS database or something like that, and that has a specific security group attached to it, so only resources within that security group can access that specific RDS database. Very important to configure that security group within this service so that all of your servers will be able to have access to that RDS database. Everything else is good to go, and then I can just go ahead and create a launch template. So now what I can do is I can go into auto scaling groups. I can do create auto scaling group. I can name this demo group. Alright, and all I need to do is provide a launch template. Alright, so this will provide all the parameters, settings necessary to launch an EC2 instance. I can go ahead and click next. In availability zones, you can just add as many as you want. Right? Next. Here is where it's important, alright? So you can add a load balancer as well if you want, but remember, if you add a load balancer, right, it's gonna cost more money, alright? And that's because, you know, load balancing is an extra feature that you have to add. But if you do not want to add a load balancer, you don't have to necessarily, alright? And then you can press next, and then now you can configure your size and scaling. Alright, so basically over here you can basically say to AWS, how many EC2 instances are you allowed to spin up at most. Alright, what this does for you as a user is it allows you to optimize costs, because let's say you can only afford 5 servers, right? So you can actually specify that over here, right? And then you can just go ahead and click next, and then just create auto scaling group. I'm not gonna do this. I just wanted to show you guys, but you can definitely go ahead and create the auto scaling group, and it will automatically scale your app for you, right? Additionally, one more thing that I learned from EC2 auto scaling is scheduled actions. Alright, so this is something you do when you actually create the group, and then you go into auto scaling, alright, within the group. And once you go in there, if you scroll down, you'll see scheduled actions. Now what this does is it allows you to set up scaling on a schedule. Okay, so you're basically going to scale out your app based on a specific time frame. So this is perfect for when you have a predictable behavior, right? For example, let's say you want to scale down your app to 0 servers at 1 a.m. because nobody's going to be using your app. You can do that with the scheduled actions. All right. So this way you can help optimize your costs by allowing you to scale up and scale down your app based on times you know that users are going to use this app a lot or not use it at all. Okay, so that's another feature which I really like to help optimize costs within the AWS family. Alright, so that is it for AWS auto scaling. Please note that auto scaling only really works with EC2 because it only really makes sense for EC2. But that is it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and take care.